All right, let's get started, everybody. What's going on? I'm your girl, Lauren-Shay, LA, and this is episode 2 of our Shay Nanigans podcast. Everybody give yourself a round of applause for being here. When I was a kid, they taught you to do a round of applause and make a little circle with your hands and all that good stuff. So I want to say thank you to anybody that is listening today. This is episode 2, and we're featuring two of the baddest creators here in the Kick community. That's SpudZMcGee _ Kick and my girl, Mrs. Violence. Before we introduce our guests and get to know a little bit more about them, what I would love for us to be able to do is go over what this podcast represents, what it's for, and also, if anybody else is interested, of course, in being on in the future, we're happy to have you come on and join. You can go to my channel on Kick Streaming. That's Lauren-Shay, LA. Do Command Shay Nanigans, and we will get you featured. This podcast is all about highlighting non-verified and non-partnered affiliates on the platform. Those are the people that make up the majority of this beautiful place that we call Kick Streaming, the green team, if you will. We don't feel like our affiliates get enough shine in these Kick Streaming streets. So today we wanted to make sure that we took time to show love to our affiliates, including SpudZMcGee, who's been out here in the Kick community with us for quite some time now. So I'm gonna get off of what we're doing here. I thank anybody that is listening again, whether you're live with us in chat or you're listening offline. Thank you so much for taking time to tap in and learn some more about our creators. Starting with welcome, man. How you doing, Spud? Thank you for waiting patiently.
I'm doing well. I gotta tell you, I figured the train would be a little late. I know you were having, you had to get dressed and had to get all dolled up, and even after you got all set up, still as soon as the recording bot joined in and kind of threw the camera off, so I was like, okay, she'll figure it out. She'll get it going.
Listen, it's called Shay Nanigans for a reason, because in my world, it's always something. It's never going to be just smooth sailing 100%. But then again, it's streaming, so you prepare. You hope for the best, you prepare for the worst.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think that link is right.
Which link?
The link for the promo. Every time I try to open it up, it's an error. It's weird. Anytime you try to use a underscore on Kick, it goes as a dash. I think I DM'd you the actual
That's right.
The link that works. It gets weird. It's wonky.
Perfect. So let me see if one of our mods might be able to fix that. Because yes, that's to be mindful. Anybody that's listening to this podcast, just so that you know, especially if you're a new creator, by all means, if you can, please avoid having an underscore in your name. And it's not your fault. It's Kick's fault. Kick is ghetto. Kick is new. And Kick has not figured out yet. It is. They have yet to figure out how to just make the underscores not appear as dashes in the URL. So I'm gonna have one of our moderators hopefully update that so we can make sure we give you the proper shout out you deserve. Okay.
I actually found that out the hard way because I was buying Kickbot tools. I think it was.
Yes.
And when you try to sign up for it, it links exactly to your URL. So when I did the underscore, I had to buy 2 different licenses because the first time it was an underscore and not a dash. So note to yourself, for whoever is watching, if you have a underscore in your URL and you're on Kick, just be mindful that it does translate to a dash in all things.
Do it. Oh my God, in all things. I shout out to A Babs, because A Babs has he is the king of Kick tools, makes so many things for us. The hyper chain, the hyper chat, all types of different features, our daily sub goals, all that stuff. But I hope you can reach out, because Babs is a nice man. So if you reached out to him, was like, hey dog, I need you to run my money back, because we probably give it back to you. He's very nice. He's understanding.
I think it was like $9. I mean, it's a lesson learned.
There
I wouldn't
you
have
go.
learned, at the end of the day, you got to charge it to the game, man.
Sometimes you just got to charge it to the game.
Listen,
speaking of which, there's a lot going on in not only these Kick streaming streets, but these world streets, rather. For those that are listening right now, a lot of people across the country, including ourselves, are being impacted by the effects of Hurricane Milton. I know my boy Spuds right here is a Floridian himself. So I want to give you the chance to introduce yourself. Let us know what kind of stuff you have going on in these Kickshimmer streets, but also tell us a little bit about what it's like being in this storm right now and what you've done to prepare if you've had to do anything, really.
Um, I'm born and raised in South Florida. So I was 2 years old when Hurricane Andrew hit. So it's,
I
you're not
see.
old enough to have any type of like consciousness or understanding of what's really going on, but Hurricane Wilma, Hurricane Katrina, Irma, like all these other
Right.
hurricanes that hit Florida, you kind of have a piece of it and a part of it growing up. And I think the big one for me was Wilma. I think I was like 16 or 17 when it
Hmm.
hit, and our power was out for like 2 weeks. There was like knocked over shopping carts that people were cooking on. FEMA was bringing ice. But when
Oh,
you're 16 years old and you're at home by yourself, it's a party. We weren't worried about the lights being on.
right.
We were getting into trouble,
Of
playing
course.
manhunt, doing all kinds of foolish stuff. So it's a lot different of a perspective to have as an adolescent teenager than it is to be a parent now.
Okay.
So like the way I
Mm.
look at it now, it's like, okay, do I have ice? Is my baby gonna have milk? Did we get enough
Mm.
formula? Do we have a way to boil water if we don't have good water? How are we gonna charge
Mm.
our phones? Do we have battery packs? Is the tablet charged for my 3-year-old because she will nuke this place if she don't have it?
That
You know
part.
what I mean? So we got water, but like I said, I've been in Florida long enough and have been through enough hurricanes to know that, what to kind of be wary of, what to get out of the way of, and what you can hunker down and overcome. And since it's going up the West Coast, we're gonna get a lot of wind, we're gonna get a lot of rain.
Okay.
Fort Lauderdale area, Broward area, you're not really gonna see much of anything aside from, you know, maybe a little bit of storm surge, but my heart goes out for those that are in Tampa, Clearwater, Port
Yeah.
Charlotte, that area. I know a couple of streamers. I mean, Lucci was located in Tampa, and he's actually over here in Fort Lauderdale right now.
I
He
see.
yeah, he came over this way too. So um that's the best advice when they get on the news and they say you should move, you should
Yeah.
get out of the way.
If you
You know,
can, right.
that's
Got
that's
it.
that's kinda my outlook on the hurricane situation, though. But
Got
born
it.
and raised, man, it's just another storm.
Right, right. I feel you. And I'm glad that you are in a space where you didn't, I don't think you're in like the eye of the storm or the really
No.
hard hit area. So that's good that you don't have to evacuate or leave the building. What are your thoughts though on those that they know they're in the eye of the storm, they had notice to leave, and they have chosen not to leave? What are your thoughts on that?
Foolish. Foolish if you think Mother Nature is playing any type of game with you or your house.
That part.
Foolishness.
Yeah.
Foolishness. It's gonna be down to the block work. You are crazy. And I do remodeling down
Oh,
here, so I might get some contracts in Tampa. They
oh
said that it's estimated for $175 billion of damage. That's a lot of work.
Jesus,
That's a lot of work,
that's a
man.
lot of work. It is.
That's
It's a lot of loss. And our heart, of course, goes out to, and I know you're not talking about people that, of course, are trying to get out, and all of a sudden
yeah.
there's no gas and the roads are blocked. And it's just like, oh my God, we don't know, we don't own a car. We can't get out. So we're not talking about, of course, those people, but those of y'all that had the means, you had the time, and you was like, well, I'm just gonna write it out. We're gonna pray for you, and we hope that we will see you and your people and your
Mhm.
home after all of this is over. So
Yeah, I
definitely gonna
actually
keep you in our
I
prayers.
called a buddy of mine and he's in Clearwater and I was calling him and I heard him. He was like, "Yeah, man, over there on the left." And I'm like, "What are you doing?" And he's like, "Oh, we're boarding up, man. We're riding this thing out." I was like, "Are you kidding
Oh,
me?"
oh my
I was like,
God.
"When you watch the news, there's like Tampa, Clearwater, like it's all red. Like it's red. It doesn't mean hang out." Like he's like, "We're not in a flood zone." I was like, "Okay. All right. That's your choice." But
Jesus. Well, they are
but
in our thoughts and prayers with their boarded up windows, hopefully enough toilet paper and power and generators, like you said, to last
mhm.
for days. And speaking of the generators of it all and making sure that your little one has her tablet and all those things. I love, your girl is also joining you on this parenthood journey. I know you know
Oh,
already, but some of our listeners might not know that I am officially, yes, 7 weeks pregnant with our little one. We don't know boy, girl. We're hoping healthy, and JoJo's hoping boy. I'm low key team. I'm low key team boy too, but at the
I'm telling
same
you.
time, we love a princess.
Well, we just had our son.
I know.
GD and
Congratulations.
Slevin just had their son. My
Okay.
brother Antoine has a son. One of
Okay.
my mods and his wife are pregnant with a son. So there's a
Oh,
whole lot of XY chromosome
boy.
rolling around. So there's a whole lot
Yeah.
of
I think we
it might
might
be in
catch
the
some of
air.
that.
Yeah,
Oh my
maybe.
God. We're gonna catch some of that blue nut juice. I don't know if you play Fortnite like that, Spud, but I call the blue stuff that they dump on you in Fortnite. I call that blue nut juice. Y'all know what I do. So hopefully we'll catch some of that our way as
I
well.
haven't I haven't played much Fortnite, but I've played it here and there.
Yeah, that's a crazy one. It's my first kind of shooter game that I've gotten into per se. I'm not big on guns and not big on FPS. It hurts my head. But I watch y'all do it all day, all day long. I just can't do it myself. Speaking of which, I do want to hear more about what you do on Kick streaming, gaming wise, content wise. What does your world look like when I come to your stream?
Um, well, let's start it here. Okay, so I've been streaming, I'd say, consistently since like 2020. So we're going on about 4 years now. For the first 2 years, I was streaming on Twitch,
Okay,
and in 2 years, I got to the metrics that I'm at now on Kick.
excellent.
Um, I've been streaming on Kick. When I was talking to Kelly a little bit before you snatched me into the recording
I know on the woods, my
Discord.
bad.
I was like, let me go back and make sure she knows I didn't just hang up on her.
God, no, so polite too. I'm just such a demon.
I was
Pray for
like,
me.
but so when I first heard about Kick, I had a few homies that kind of went over to it. And like I said, I took a step back, I did some research, did some digging on like Eddie and like why is Kick here in the first place? Like, what is it stemming from? You want to
Right.
know if you're gonna jump ship or extend a branch to a separate platform. You want to make sure that you're not just uprooting yourself and not going to have any sustenance or soil to move to.
Smart.
So I did some research on it, and I was like, okay, this is a thing, because I'm not one for riding waves or coattails or doing anything
Yes.
like that. I didn't want to follow the trend. I wanted to do my research first, and I was like, well, I'm looking at my growth on Twitch, and it's not as much as I would like it to be, and I
Okay.
saw how community driven Kick was. Not necessarily in like the support of, say, like raids or like numbers wise, just in a whole, as far as like warmth of community. Like, you just felt like you're rubbing elbows with all these people, and it's easy to
Yes.
network and it's easy to talk to, and you don't have to like jump through these hoops or reach very far to find somebody that would even have a conversation with you. I feel like when you're on Twitch and you try to talk to somebody that might be
Oh.
partnered or feel like they're on a separate level than you are, they're like, yeah, talk to someone that won't talk to
Uh-huh.
me. And I
Uh-huh.
and I hate that about people, because when I get off of this computer, I'm a I'm still who I am. You know what I mean? Like, this isn't my persona. This isn't who I am as a person.
Right.
So I made the switch to Kick, and in about a year I had the same metrics, if not better, over here on Kick.
Go.
And I've been going full time ever since. I've always specialized in, first person shooters. I like puzzle games. I grew up, my first console, 1996 Nintendo N64
Oh,
was super, you know, I'll be 35 in February. So, I'm
yeah.
pre internet. We were doing system
Right?
links and LAN battles at card stands and all kinds of stuff like that. But really, I play anything that the community is interested in and wants to play, community games, party games, but most of my hours are logged into realistic mil sims, first person shooters, Tarkov. Don't really play COD anymore. Used to when it was good. Not a fan of it
Okay.
anymore. Not a fan of it anymore. And our community is completely we're masochists, honestly. If you stop by for one of my subathons, it's torture. It's wax strips, drawing things on my head,
Ooh.
pies to the face. Chat put me in a dress. I had pigtails. It was rough, but it's all for the community because I don't profit from anything. I don't pocket any of the money that comes from the stream. Everything goes right back to the community. We've given away PCs,
Oh,
graphics cards,
wow.
processors, peripherals, Haystar mats. Everybody that we're partnered with, we give away Haystar mats, goodies, granola, Gamer Advantage glasses, anything. If there's
Gamer
something in the
Advantage.
community, if there's somebody in the community that needs something and somebody in our community wins it and they don't need it, they just gift it to them. You know what I
Wow.
mean? So I'm really, really proud of that. And I'm really happy with, it's small, it's tight knit, but it's super supportive and it gets the job done. It doesn't matter if it's 10 people or 15 people or 30 people. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of like where
Amen.
my metrics are, but I'm strong with the community that I have. And I wouldn't trade it for anything, man.
Amen. And
I
that's
really
the
wouldn't.
kind of mentality we like to see, Spuds, because there's so many people that really do. They beat themselves up over numbers. There are certain streamers that I watch, and I'm gonna be so honest, because I see it, and I know people can relate to this too. You ever go to a streamer chat, one day they got 200 plus viewers, and they got 1,000 subs, and life is great, and oh my God, the world is a beautiful place. But the moment catch them on a low quote unquote viewership day, you got like, I don't know, 30 viewers and you're used to having 200, or it's a
Mm-hmm.
lower sub day than you're used to. They whole energy be jacked up. It's
Yeah, their feelings
jacked
be
up.
hurt.
Their feelings be hurt. And it's because they're putting too much. Now, mind you, I'm a full-time streamer. So I listen, when it's a low sub, no sub day, that's not gonna affect my mood, even as a full-time streamer, because I
Mm-hmm.
don't come on this camera with expectation besides being in the KCIP, which I am, by the grace of God, paid to be on here hourly. But I don't expect shit from my community besides to show up
Mm-mm.
when you feel like it, have a good time, laugh with me at my bad jokes, and just that's all that I really expect. So when people do put so much emphasis on that, it turns me off as a viewer. We're
Mm-hmm.
energy people. There's a lot of energy that goes into this, whether you like it or not. You are an empath, and you're taking in what people are giving you, whether you're trying not to or not sometimes. So when I catch that energy in certain streamers, channels, I'm like, oh yeah, I won't be here very often, or I'll be lurking and twerking and maybe midnight jerking somewhere. But I love that you do that. I did not know that you don't keep any of the revenue for yourself, that you're always giving it back. That is huge. That's a huge round of applause and a thank you to, again, people like me who are full time. Thank you. We appreciate you. And giving back. You said Gamer Advantage and what else?
I'm partnered with Haystar Gaming mats.
Okay.
They're huge disc mats, and they're like a 1/4 inch thick. They are. I gotta get you one. I gotta get you to
Okay.
pick out a Haystar mat. I'm gonna have to gift you one
Thank
of those
you.
for sure for having me on. I'll
This is
get your
what I
information
have.
from you later.
Thank
No, oh, absolutely
you.
not.
It's just black.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We're
Thank
gonna
you.
have to get you a link, and you could pick out whichever one you want, and I will have it
Okay.
at your doorstep in 3 days or less. But we are
Thank you.
sponsored and partnered by Haystar Mats, Gamer Advantage glasses, which are the blue light glasses that really help
Yes,
with your
I am
vision.
too. Yep.
They're yeah. I saw that. I meant to post something to
We're
Twitter about it because I
twins
didn't
in
I didn't
that
even
world.
know. And then Goodies Granola, we're also partnered with. Man,
Mm.
it's a cookie. It's literally a cookie. It's the most moist granola that you'll ever have in your life. Put it in yogurt, make cookies. I don't care, but that stuff is gamer fuel for me.
Oh,
It is
hell
it is
yeah.
absolutely delicious. But I don't want to lose track because
Of
just
course.
like you, I can talk. Um,
Listen.
Based off of what you just said about going into people's like streams and they'll have a good day one day and a bad day the
Yes.
next, and then
Yes.
they're like dumbed down. And the way I look at it, like you're doing this for a full time gig, and I respect that 100%. And I am super blessed and grateful that I'm in a position to where I can financially provide by my means without needing this. But I know for a fact that if it was ever something that I had to depend on, I feel like my community would support me in any way that they could. That being
Amen.
said, I don't turn on this stream and go live with intentions to do anything other than make somebody's day a little bit better, because before I started streaming, if I was having an off day or trying to disconnect, and maybe I was having bad games and wasn't really doing that well, you can
Mhm.
hop into a medium-sized streamer's chat and talk about what they're doing or how they're doing, and it just kind of makes you feel a little bit better. So the biggest thing that I want to touch on when it comes to streaming, my biggest fear is that I'll get too big to not be able to read chat. I
I say
wanna
the
make
same
sure that
thing.
every single person in chat knows that if they're coming at me with a valid, organic question and energy, that I wanna be able to reciprocate. I will stop playing the game to make sure
Right?
that chat is being taken care of 100% of the time. 100% of the time.
We see each other's buzz, I'm telling you. And that's why I feel very welcome in your stream because I have been in your streams a few times now. And I've been like, okay, this is good energy. We can have, I think there's a really talented thing that streamers do, especially when you have multiple people in your chat, is you have a bunch of
Mhm,
individual conversations with people, but you're having one overall conversation with the whole chat. And I think that
mhm.
that is a good quality that you have. I see that in other streamers. I love our affiliates. I'd much rather be up in your chat hanging out than somebody like, no offense to an XQC or a Kai Sinet, but we can't commune together. You can't even talk to the other people in chat. The chat's going so doggone fast. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll get to that point one day, but then again, I don't even know if we want to. So, that
Yeah,
part.
I would like I said, on a good day, thanks to you, I've been front paged a few times. And aside from the
That's you.
bots and stuff like that that attack you while you're on front page,
Yes.
um, I've generated some following, but I'll be at 30-35 CCV,
Come
and I
on.
enjoy myself. I enjoy myself with that. It's like if chat's rolling with 35 organic views and it goes to 100, I'm like, Jesus, I'm just gonna have to be just chatting because you can't.
Right.
How am I being Tarkov getting shot at trying to talk to you about what's going on? I can't do it. So I'm just gonna have to shut
Right.
the game off, shut it down, hide in a bush, do something. But
I love that. So you two are a people person, and I love that about you and your whole personality. Speaking of which, I know part of your personality is this potato. It's a baked potato. I was like, okay. I was like, 'cause, I try to name the episode different things that have to do with our guests. So first the episode was Mr.
Mhm.
Potato Head, and I was like, I don't want Disney coming after me. So I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
let's do who's got the hot potato. Okay, so you call yourself Spuzz McGee. So I want you to
Mhm.
tell us, where does the name come from? Why?
Okay, all right. So where I came, my my original, like, I'm trying to think, like, when I first started streaming, what my I think it was the gift, like a present.
Uh-huh.
It was th. I had an elite Xbox controller that my wife had made for me, where it actually had my name on it, but that one broke. But it was TH3G1F7, back on Xbox when you would have to
Uh-huh.
spell things with letters if you really
Right.
wanted it. um, and that was my image over on Twitch. And I was like, okay, if I'm gonna come over here, and I don't want to take any of the energy that was over there over to a new platform. If I'm gonna do it, I want to rebrand it.
Okay.
I kind of want to redo it. So I started the whole process of the branding on Twitch. Like, I dropped my old name and everything that it was, and like actually jumped in off the porch full fledged with streaming. I had a brand, I had an image, I had a story as to what I was, why I was, and what I
Yeah.
wanted to be. And where the Spuds McGee comes from was kind of like a double entendre because I'm Irish. So this is
Okay.
like 95% of our diet. And then also, I'm pretty good at clicking on people's heads. So it's kind of like an oxymoron because when they say you're a potato, it means you're bad. So I was like, okay, it'll kind of
Oh,
be a play on words and a funny thing. So the McGee is just obviously Irish as
right.
hell, and then
Right.
Spuds is the potato. So
I love that. I did not know.
so
So it's potatoes. That means you're bad in like cod.
yeah, if someone says, "Oh, you're a potato," like your aim is potato, like it's bad, like you miss a lot. So like when you go to shoot somebody
Oh,
and it's just bing 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 bing, you're missing all your shots. It's called potato aim.
oh, I did today? Because you got I know your look was like the potato with the guns and the headphones. I'm like, oh, that potato got aim. So I see the irony now and the humor. I like that. I like that. As well
Yeah.
as the Irish background of it all. I was like, well, listen, Spud, somewhere down the line we might be related because I know that people might not be able to tell, but I too am an Irishman. I am very, 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 very small. We get our last name comes from our Irish side of our family, and I would guess if
Nice.
my dad is 1/16th, I don't know what that makes me, but it's less than it's way small. But maybe hey, I like potatoes too. So and I used to like to have because they claim Irish people getting their drink on, and before this little one came into my life, we was definitely doing a lot of that. So
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
not like the Irish stereotypes.
yeah. Have an Irish kicker in the morning. It's just a splash of brandy in your coffee.
You
But
know, just a little something.
or a hot toddy.
I love me a hot toddy. I love me a little Hennessy and more coffee. But but listen, we're not gonna go there today because then I'm gonna end up being off stream having a glass of wine, and none of us are gonna be happy about that. So um, thank you. Love the origin story. I know you said you do like real man Sims. You used to do COD kind of off of that right now. What is one of from your childhood? What is one of your favorite games to play when you were growing up?
One of my favorite games to play when I was growing up. I mean, like I said, I've always been a first person shooter fan. So we would before we had the internet, kids, we had this thing called a system link with the original Xbox VCR. It's probably about as big as this computer is.
That part.
And what you would do is you would have the same type of Ethernet cable that plugs into your computers now to give it the internet, and you could plug two Xboxes into each other and have four people at one person's house and four people at
I
the other.
kind of do
And
remember
where and,
that.
and where I lived, we were in a townhouse at the time, so it was 2 units upstairs and downstairs, and all the kids' bedrooms were on the back side of the building. So we would just open the back window, throw the system link cable to the next window, and plug up, and have 4 homies over here and 4 homies over
Oh
there, and we'd
my
be playing
God.
Halo 2. That was our online at that point in time. That was like just
Wow.
when I think when Halo 2 came out, they just started having like DSL. You remember when DSL came out?
Jesus, yes.
And that's when you didn't have to get off. I'm trying to use the internet. But
I
yeah.
know. Wee, wee, wee,
Yeah, yeah.
wee.
So that was probably one of my like but my favorite game, I think I hate it because I'm such an Xbox fan, but PlayStation did so many things right with the
Oh, I
PS2.
love
Because
PlayStation 2.
I
Yes.
loved like on the Nintendo 64 they had, I'm jumping around all over the place, but we
You're
gotta
fine.
start at the
Listen,
roots.
I'm with you.
So
I got my 64 too with my first system. So go on.
so the Nintendo 64 had Conker's Bad Fur Day, and it had like a story and lore to play, but it was like an M-rated game at that
Okay.
point in time. And then PlayStation had like Jack and Daxter, Spyro, Crash
Yes.
Bandicoot. So like those little games that you would play, like you got to collect the do the little boss fights. But I like the story
Yes.
and the lore with like Jack and Daxter, Ratchet and Clank, those types of
Right.
games.
Right.
And
Yeah.
then Xbox, I played Prince of Persia was a really good one.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
the whole Zelda franchise really was great.
That's,
Ocarina of Time, things like that
that's my
were pretty
favorite
big for
one.
me.
And
Yeah.
Majora's Mask.
Yeah, I actually bought a Switch just to play Breath of the Wild, and that actually made me like really, really happy. Breath of the Wild was really good on the Switch.
Amen. So of coming up, you started on the 64, PlayStation, had the Xbox cable links, all that good stuff. And
Mhm.
so right now, what's like one of your favorite games? I know, like you said, you like I used to be on COD heavy, but I'm off. But like, what's your hottest game right now?
I mean, I have 13,000 hours logged in Tarkov. So if you ask
Amen.
me any question about
Amen.
that game, I know it inside out, upside
And
down,
out.
backwards. Yeah. Yeah. So that's probably um my favorite game right now that I'm playing. And I really feel like game development has kind of fallen off a cliff
Okay.
because the attention span that people have for game, they don't care
I
about a
know.
story. They don't want to know about
No.
any of that. They want a battle pass. They want something cool that's shiny and cosmetic.
Right.
So I feel like a lot of these, and it's crazy because a lot of these like studios that are developing games are the OGs that have made all the greats, but it's not what's selling. So like, why would you bring something to a table that nobody wants to eat? You know, I can't get mad as a 35-year-old gamer when the majority of the market is 16, 15, 14, 13-year-old
Right.
individuals that aren't interested in the same things that I am anymore. So I'm not just gonna sit here and be the pissed off 35-year-old gamer like, "Why aren't you making games? I don't wanna play no more."
I know.
Imma just get an emulator or buy an Xbox or go play it.
Right.
It's still there. You can still
Exactly.
play it. You
Love
know
an
what I mean?
emulator.
But,
Absolutely.
you know, like I say, man, it's we've been looking for that next like itch to scratch, like with it
Yeah.
being like a great game. There was a lot of, you know, hype and things, but I mean, Tarkov is, no matter what I do, no matter where I go, if I go and play, you know, Lockdown Protocol and do like
That's one of the new
community
ones.
games and make, you know, I play that game for content because it's just comical. Every single place
Yeah.
you turn, there's a funny moment, something you could push short form content with. And
Mhm.
you know, that's what you want. You want the monetization. That's really what you're
That
looking
part.
for.
Right.
But yeah, as far as enjoying games, I'll play anything. I'll give it an honest playthrough and tell chat how I feel about it, and then, you know, either keep it and put it in the archives or
Mhm.
return it. But I always go back to Tarkov every
I
single
love
time.
that. And Tarkov to a level, 'cause I know it's a shooter type of game. To a level though, do you like the story of Tarkov? It has like a level of a story to it.
It's torture, no matter which way you crumble that cookie. It is one of the most grueling and unforgiving games. I would never recommend it to a friend. I would never tell you to
Mhm.
play it. It is it has been a love-hate relationship of up and down and
I
problems with
see.
net code, and it's just, you have to love yourself a little bit more than you love the game or you wouldn't play
I love that.
it.
I love that. And I only ask because, mind you, I play Fortnite, and it took me a long time to even try any kind of a pew pew game. There's no story to Fortnite. It's just we
No.
just shooting and killing until there's nobody left. But I personally I enjoyed games growing up, just like you, like Legend of Zelda. I enjoyed the Tales series, like Tales of Symphonia, Valkyrie Profile, some old JRPGs, Final
Yeah.
Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts. I'm a JRPG girly still to this day, and I like them because there's a story to it. Besides, like the
Mhm.
great gameplay and killing monsters and leveling up and all that stuff. Shout out to Pokemon, getting us into that liking that level up and that feeling and all that. But
Mhm.
I do agree with you that I feel like a lot of these games today, and maybe it's what the kids want, but there's no story. It's like, what's the trade-off? Like, I want to shout out a game that I did finally finish after 4 years last year called Scarlet Nexus. And it was a JRPG. It got some really awesome controls to it. I recommend all of our JRPG people that are in that world, go check it out. But by the time I got to the end of the game, I was so satisfied and surprised by the storytelling, just because, like you
Mm.
said, I feel like there's been such a lack of that in games recently. So I was like, wow, this could be a freaking movie. So
Yeah.
Sky Nexus, that's a good one if you're ever interested in some JRPGs.
I mean, probably one of the better, I'd say franchises that, like, actually told a story, like the Metal Gear Solid series was really good.
Yes,
That was really good.
I've watched it
Um,
on YouTube.
never got into Final Fantasy, but
um,
what I did love was Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom
oh,
Hearts was the
great part.
shit.
Yes,
I
it was.
loved playing Kingdom Hearts.
Me too.
Um, I'm trying to think, because now that you're, like, bringing up these other games, it's like, because I didn't even get into handhelds, like, who didn't play Pokemon? Like,
I
of course I had
know.
that, like, duh, you know what I mean?
We
But,
love our Pokemon.
yeah, I would have been really upset if I watched this VOD back and failed to mention Kingdom Hearts. That was probably one of my favorites.
That's all right. That's an OG
Mm.
game. And like you said, you got your handheld for Legend of Zelda. I got my handheld to play Pokemon Violet. Shout out to my fiance for buying it for me. I appreciate that. Getting me the game. Okay, so we're cutting into a little bit of our last few minutes, but I wanted to save one of the most important questions, in my opinion, for last. So I know that you recently just had a
Hit me.
son and that you're a
I
father, I believe,
did.
of how many kids do you have, Spuds?
Oh, this one's gonna hurt. I have 3 daughters and 3 sons. And then I
Ooh,
have 1 daughter that is adopted by marriage. So I have 7 children in total. 37 kids,
wow.
drift kiss my ass.
Oh my God.
Drift,
He
drift,
done
drift.
added 30 people.
Drift is one of the biggest contributors to our community, and he's
About the
helped with a lot
drift.
of our giveaways. And Drift is great, and he's here and he's supporting, but
I
he can
appreciate
still
you.
kiss my ass. Hoppy is also one of our mods, and Unicorn
Shout
Farts. If you
out,
see her
please.
somewhere in the
I see him.
chat, that is my wife. Is one of my mods also. So.
And hi, mommy. Congrats on the new baby. You got a large tribe to get to go.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness.
it's pretty much a basketball team.
I
But
love that. We just trying to get the one. We just trying to get the one, and then we'll see what else God blesses us with. But you have surely been blessed. I believe that, in my opinion, I don't feel like people get a lot of opportunities to be a parent unless they're an awesome one. So I think that this is an awesome testament to you as a father, as a person, and all that good stuff. And as a father, I do want to know, how do you balance parenthood, being a dad, newborn in the house, and also doing all this content creation stuff? How do you balance it?
My wife is how I balance it. And I don't say that jokingly. I say that from a position of gratitude, because she understands that this is something that I've done for my whole life. I've been gaming since I was, you know, what, 7, 8 years old.
Mhm.
And it's, I didn't have the greatest upbringing. So it was always an outlet. It was always a disconnect. It was always an ability to focus on achieving and accomplishing something and not really having to worry about what's going on around you. Um,
Right.
and us being together for the time that we were together, not to say that, me gaming, because, you can blink and it's 8 hours.
Yeah, I
And
know.
and she'd look at me and be like, what's going on, like, you're choosing this over me. And we've had our conversations and we come back and forth to it, and she's understanding and I have to dial back, and it's just
Mhm.
balance. It's a yin and yang. Like, my wife in my phone, since we've wherever a thing, has always been labeled as my piece, and I spell that a very specific way for a very specific reason, because she's always brought balance to my life. And I know this question is about my children, but you asked me how I balance all of this, and you don't get that without the other piece of the puzzle.
That
And that's
part.
that's 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 how I feel about that. But again, with as many children as I have, and my oldest is 17 years old. She'll be 18 soon. So
Beautiful.
I've had children since I was a child. I was 16 years old
Mm.
when my first daughter was born, and
Wow.
um, I didn't get to be an amazing parent to her, to the
Gotcha.
way that I am able to be now to her siblings, now that I've actually grown
Mhm.
up and been able to, financially take care of things and myself. And every
Right.
time I see her, I make sure she understands that I'm grateful for her, because, I had to sacrifice things, but she had to sacrifice more. You know what I mean? She didn't get the dad that I am today. So
Mhm.
the best advice that I could give to any parent is appreciate the time that you have with your children when they're small, because you don't get them like that for long. They grow up eventually and they don't need you. So from birth to about 5 or 6 years old, hold on to that moment. Really, really relish in that moment and understand the journey that you're starting on, and how important it is that you enjoy the first step, enjoy the first word, enjoy the first haircut, the first tooth,
Yes.
the potty training. Don't look at it as a job or as something that's an inconvenience to you.
Mm.
My baby cry right now. I love y'all, but I'll be
I
back.
peace out, right?
I gotta go.
But I will
I
wait, and
gotta
I'll
go
do a
see
little
what's.
dance.
I gotta go see what's going on with my baby. Um, but that being said, you know, that's how I feel about that. That's that's kind of where
Yes.
I'm gonna leave that statement, is appreciate them when they're little, because they'll turn 10 and think they know shit about stuff, and
I know.
you don't know nothing. How could you relate to me? Oh, like, I ain't been 16
15
before.
years
Oh yeah.
old. Oh my
Oh, I
God.
just skipped 16. I just got
Right.
straight to where
Jumped to
I'm at.
35. Right. Oh my God.
It's wild. It's wild to me how, like, and and they try to be slick. Like they try to like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make sure he can't see my story on Instagram. Like I don't have 10 fake accounts following
Like
you
we don't
already.
know how. Right? My parents were the same way with me in MySpace. They knew they was right there with me.
You've been getting catfish since before you knew it. Like
It's been me. It was me, Roger, the whole time.
we've had 12 conversations about, algebra class and what's going on, and you don't even know who I am.
Oh my God, that is great. But listen, that's a great way to keep an eye. That's an absolute. You got to.
You have to, man. With this world and the internet and what's going on with kids today, dude, my 15-year-old daughter, like, should get dressed. I'm like, where's the rest of your clothing at? Like, what are you doing? That's how you're gonna conduct. Now are you gonna be upset when people look at you? Can't do that.
I can't take it.
Can't do that. You can't get mad when you signing up for that. That's nope.
The kind of intention that you invite. And I know I would get mad at my dad too back because I've always been kind of a chesty girl. And we've always had to kind of cover up and do certain things. I mean, well, all the other girls are doing this. We're like, well, all the other girls don't look like you. Okay. So sometimes you do have to be mindful. And I love that you are a very present parent. Like you said, you were 16 when you had your first child. Shout out to you now being able to look back and be like, I was a child myself, but I'm figuring it out. And you're going to be there for your daughter forever going on. And now you're there for all your other kids and you're in a better place, a better space to be more of the dad that you wanted to be, but you have not lost an opportunity. Maybe you wasn't able to do the same for your older ones when they were smaller. Because again, you two were a child and growing up figuring out life.
Sideways T. Oh no, I was always there financially.
Oh, okay.
What I mean, no, I want to clarify what I mean by that is I wasn't able to appreciate being a parent.
I see.
I was changing a diaper like, I gotta change another diaper.
Right,
like, I'm losing all this sleep. Now when my son wakes up, I appreciate those moments when he's got me up and I'm just there and he's counting on me to feed him. You know what I mean?
I love
That's what I mean. It's like I wasn't able to appreciate being a father. I was always working. I had 3 full jobs. My kids never wanted for anything, but
amen.
I wasn't. They got time or they got money. They never were able to have both for me.
I see.
Because you know what I mean. You can't give them both.
Come on, for 4 jobs, it's hard to make time when you got to clock in them 4 jobs, but you always make sure you provide it. So that's absolutely amazing. Yeah. I appreciate you coming on. Shout out to the wifey, because like y'all hear, I know there's a lot of single parents out there and people that are fostering and adopting and all that stuff. But let me tell you guys, having an awesome partner in your life, whether it's somebody that is like a sibling that's very close to you, helping out with your kids, or a parent, or just somebody, a friend even, to hold you down and like in Spud's case, be that peace for him, that PIECE in his life. I think that is huge. That both of y'all are killing it and doing that and making time to still enjoy, of course, family time, and then have time and space to do content creation and things that you want to do outside of family time as well, and also keeping the family in it. So I'm proud of you, and I think that's great advice for myself as an upcoming parent, and those of us that are up and coming or you're already parents. That's amazing advice from you, Spuds. So the last little bit I want to ask you about is advice for this platform. So every time we do one of these, we do send the last couple minutes over to the staff. I'm sending it to Santa Maria. I'm going to try to send it to Eddie as well. And I want this to be the opportunity because, for example, on Eddie's podcast, he only right now talking to Verified and partners, whatever. So we're not getting to hear from our affiliates and what you guys would have to suggest. So I take this opportunity to run it back to staff. Staff hopefully will listen to what you have to say. And we can get some changes and make the platform a better place. So suggestions to make Kick a better place?
Andrew, come step into my office. Okay. My view on where Kick is now, I love that they're trying to balance out the API and the backend issues. Please, dear God, give us a chat list. Please, please, dear God. I would love to be able to manage when you get the random name with 4 numbers behind it. Add me on Discord for whatever they're trying to sell. Like, they follow me. Like, I don't want that follow. Like, let me get rid of that person. Or do I have to reach out to staff to have that done. Like I want to be able to see who's in my chat and what's going on, not to count views, but to be able to moderate and see what's going on. Like get rid of the bots. Like
Chat list.
I get it. I get it. Kick right now is like the wild, wild west. And, there's I see it a lot. I see a lot of people,
We know, we all see
doing the botting thing. And it is what it is. Like that's liking your own pictures on Instagram. No one cares. But,
That's me.
but at the end of the day, I support where they're going and where I think they would like to be. I don't work there, so I don't know 100% of, what's going on. As far as the front page thing goes,
Okay.
I don't see why anyone that's verified already or anyone that is, I would say, partner Casey, anyone that's already hit the metrics for what they need, why should they be featured? I feel like a feature should be the future. It should be what's upcoming, what's fresh, what's refreshing. Like XQC has 50,000 viewers. He does not need front page at all. He could go live from a soapbox and do just fine. You know what I mean? He could start his own platform tomorrow and pull more viewers than 90% of the people because he has that following. And no discredit to him at all. But if it was my platform, I would look at the front page as featuring upcoming talent, giving the little guy a shot to generate a following and to maybe hit a better metric. That's just my opinion. Now, if you're a part of a feature program where you're doing a podcast or you're doing a giveaway or you're doing a special donation, that's different. That should be pushed because it has a good goal and incentive behind it. But I feel like they're doing fine tuning. I have seen changes. I like the new push and how everything looks.
Yeah.
But I think that the categories that they have, whether it's IRL or just chatting or COD, if there was a rotation on the category, I think that would help getting better viewership to other games and other categories versus just the same 10 things. I feel like their categories are based off of numbers. It's always the same 10 things. And it's like, who cares? Like, we know that's there. We know that's there.
Right. You don't need to search for it to find it.
Yeah. Front page should be for things that you would have to dig to get.
I like that.
That's how I look at it. That's how I view it. And that's where I would like for it to be, but it's not my platform. So I'll shut up.
No, we want to hear. Listen, we want to hear about your perspective. If it was your platform, what would you have it be? And I too, and listen, we've always seen each other, Spuz. I too, I know I'm your girl. I've been here a long time. I've been featured a lot, and I've even said, I on certain days, like you said, a podcast. We're doing charity relief. We had a pregnancy announcement, things like that. I'm like, okay, FP time. Cool. And it is one note about the people that are partnered and the people that are verified. They do tell you, or at least they told us in the first class, one of our perks to now being partnered was we would be featured more often. And it's because you are seen now as a representative of the platform. So as a new platform, they want people that, they feel represent well, that somebody new could come to streaming and be like, oh, I've never heard of this Lauren-Shay, but seems like she has a little following. Let's see what's going on with Kit. But I've always, just like you, been like, we don't need it all the damn time. There needs to be more affiliates, needs to be more people under 10 CCV that are just brand new and trying to grow and glowing. I've asked to have a section just for that, right alongside the featured streamers if possible. And I've been told that might not be something that is good for people under 10 CCV because they won't actually maintain the metrics and this and that. But I don't care what they say. I always disagree with that because you're missing out on a lot of our affiliates that are amazing and they're doing like 10 CCV 30. But if somebody gave them that extra push, they could hold 100, 150, no problem. They just need that extra push. So I'm right there with you.
Okay. I was going to get the baby. But
no, you listen.
Apparently he's doing tummy time. No, I was going to bring him on the camera.
Oh, okay. I was like, no, do your tummy time, baby. That's my little. I was like, oh, that's one of my favorite names too for your newest little one. So I was like, amazing. But those are that great piece of it. But yes, it is. I was like, I didn't want to. I never say kids' names without people giving me permission. So I was like, but it's one of my favorites.
No, yeah, he's great. He's great. But yeah, back to what you were saying about the front page situation and what your recommendations were. God, I lost my train of thought on it. I had not a disagreement, but like a
Yeah,
rebuttal
but just another right.
to feed off of what you were saying. Um, oh, never mind. He's here.
Let's
Give me my pen.
see. Come on, littlest one. Come on, little Oh, chat, look. I know our listeners that are watching this back offline, you won't be able to see and you're missing out. But oh my God, go watch the VOD.
He's chilling.
Lauren-Shay,
He
love
sees all the
you.
lights.
I know he's looking
He's
around
like
like, where am
tripping.
I? What is yeah, it's a lot to take in.
It's not. It's not.
It's a lot to take in. But listen, maybe 30 years, hell, 10 years from now, the way the kids are set up, we'll see him right here in this studio himself. Who knows?
Probably.
Absolutely amazing. So, are there any final thoughts that you have or any kind of self promo you would like to do before we wrap your segment, Spuds?
I'm not really big on self promo. Like I
Okay.
said, we're community driven. Over on my stream, we play a lot of Tarkov. We do community games. If you want it or need it, we'll find a way to provide it. You know, for members of the community. Like I said, we've done giveaways where people have won things and not necessarily needed them, and a member of the
Right.
community reaches out, and it just gets passed down the line to whoever really needs what's going on. A lot of the members of the community are smaller streamers, so
Mm-hmm.
if they need a camera or if they need a stream deck or a foot pedal or things to kind of make life a little bit easier for them, in this big sea of content creation. That's one of the biggest things that I try to do. I try to make sure everybody has the best quality that they can, and I'll never recommend anything that I don't use myself. um I was talking to you about, you wanted to do, the mic and the beacon and
Yes.
stuff. And once you pull that trigger, you make sure you give me a shout and we'll get all the settings and stuff squared away with your audio. I'm pretty sure.
Thank
I don't want
you.
to step on Fuzz's toes, but I know how to use the beacon a little bit.
Yes, listen, Buzz been telling us like switch out there. I'm like, we gonna get it. I'm like, let me get my subs up a little. We gonna get the mic and we gonna get it right. But I want to
Yeah.
say thank you so much to everybody. Give a round of applause. Anybody's in the chat. Make sure you guys go plug up with SpudZMcGee _ or you might have to type in hyphen kick to go find him. We'll drop your direct link so they have it as well. And thank you so much for your time. Stay safe. Keep killing dad life. And shout out to the wifey and the whole fam, baby. Thank you so much for being here.
Appreciate you.
Take care and good night.